Major Pittsburgh Steelers update as the Steelers are being linked to a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and his name is not Russell Wilson. Matthew Stafford could be on his way out of LA, and the Steelers are one of the teams listed as potential trade partners. Could they go after Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp and get the tandem of one of the greatest wide receiver quarterback seasons in NFL history back when Cooper Kupp had his Triple Crown year? These are two guys that have unbelievable chemistry together, and the Steelers could fix two problems with one move. One big splash, bringing in Stafford and Cooper Kupp in one trade. I will show you some potential trade options later in this video, but first we just have to talk about Matthew Stafford, possibly the Steelers' next franchise quarterback. Yes, he is very old, but he's also very proven. Has that worked for the Steelers in the past? Absolutely not. Would I rather them draft a quarterback? I'm not entirely sure, but we're going to dive into it here in just a second on Steelers Digest. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we're going to continue to fuel this offseason with Pittsburgh Steelers news, rumors, updates, analysis, all of the above here on Steelers Digest. We need you guys to subscribe to this channel, Steelers Nation. Let's talk about Matthew Stafford. Stafford, are you serious? Another veteran quarterback being linked to the Steelers. We've talked about Aaron Rodgers. We already had the Russell Wilson experience. Justin Fields is still sitting right there waiting, but it's a 50-50 chance he would go to the New York Jets, according to recent rumors. So the Steelers are starting to pivot, and Matthew Stafford is available. So the reports are in that the Steelers are one of the interested parties. Matthew Stafford could be the grand prize in the Steelers' desperate quarterback pursuit, and they have been looking for a franchise quarterback ever since Big Ben retired. They have gone through the full experience, a carousel of horrible quarterbacks. The first actual good quarterback they had, Justin Fields, as well as Russell Wilson, and last year was still a disaster. So we're looking a little bit further to a guy that has some playoff experience. Not that Russell Wilson doesn't have playoff experience, but Matthew Stafford, even last year, was successful in the playoff, where we saw the first half of what happened with Russell Wilson last year. That pretty much sealed his fate, because I honestly do believe the Steelers would have re-signed Russell Wilson if it wasn't for that atrocious game against the Baltimore Ravens. Now we're looking at Matt Stafford as a potential trade option for the Steelers. His time with the Rams, he has been extremely good. We're talking about an all-world quarterback, even back when he was on the Detroit Lions. He was putting up the numbers, and he was making Calvin Megatron Johnson a Hall of Famer. But now, with the Rams, he's making Cooper Kupp a Hall of Famer. I mean, no matter where this guy goes, he has put up the numbers, and he just couldn't win in Detroit, so he goes to the Rams, and he wins a Super Bowl. He could bring a Super Bowl to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have the defense. They have these weapons. If you bring in Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp, this is a completely different offense. Arthur Smith has never touched a quarterback as capable as Matthew Stafford, the Georgia product that has been an absolute stud since day one in his NFL career. This could be the answer for the Pittsburgh Steelers if they're willing to make this type of trade. I'm not saying that I prefer it, but it's a much better option what they have right now. If they're not sold on Justin Fields, or if Justin Fields goes elsewhere, Matt Stafford might be the best option on the market right now, regardless of the asking price. It could be a perfect storm for the Pittsburgh Steelers if they go out and get Matt Stafford. This is not as risky of an option because he's a hot commodity, but he's also a proven commodity. There are at least 4 teams linked to him right now. We're going to get into that in just a little bit, but right now, the Steelers are just looking for somebody that can answer their prayers on offense. They're tired, and us fans are tired. Steelers Nation is tired of watching these lackluster offenses out there every single time. And you could make the argument that Matt Stafford is the closest thing in the NFL currently to Big Ben. So I would argue, I would make that argument 100%, but Matt Stafford is a gamer. He's a big game player. He has the Super Bowl championship. I know Russell Wilson had that as well, but Matt Stafford won a Super Bowl by himself. He won a Super Bowl with his offense, not Russell Wilson with that defense that he had. Now, the Rams defense was pretty good as well when Matt Stafford won the Super Bowl, but overall, that offense fueled that team to a Super Bowl championship. So I'm saying that Matt Stafford could make the gears really turn on the Steelers offense and help us figure things out, because there's so many question marks. But if we could just get one position of consistency, it would help us in the draft a lot, because then we'd know what we need to go after. This Steelers-Rams trade could cure all of Pittsburgh's offensive woes immediately, according to FanSided. Stafford is this big ticket item, and adding Kupp to the deal should only require the Steelers to add a day 3 pick into the mix. A 4th or 5th rounder should be enough to secure Kupp if they're already going to have to give up maybe a 1st rounder for Matthew Stafford, and then they're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. You have this chemistry that has already been established between these two, this link that has been established between Stafford and Kupp going together to a new team would be the ultimate trade for these two guys getting out of LA. LA is still a great place to be. I'm not saying that Matt Stafford wants out of LA. He's never once said that he wants to leave yet to this point. But the Rams have said, hey, we're going to give you an opportunity to seek another trade partner, to seek another team. They already have granted him permission to do that. And Cooper Kupp has already gotten that permission weeks ago. So now we're looking at a potential package of Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford possibly coming to Pittsburgh. We've already talked about Kupp. We've talked about Kupp a lot, but Stafford is something new. This is just something that's really progressed in the last 2 days, and they're really starting to identify these potential trade destinations for Matthew Stafford. And the Steelers, of course, one of the first ones to pop up showing interest in a Matthew Stafford trade. And with Matthew Stafford locked in his stalemate with the Rams, the Steelers might be the only team willing to give him a multi-year contract to finish out his career. This is a team that you would suspect to be in the mix, but so are the other teams in the mix. The Giants, the Browns, the Raiders. We heard about the Giants being a potential Matt Stafford destination last year, and the Browns are as desperate as any other team in the NFL for a quarterback, for an answer at the helm of the offense. And Matt Stafford could really be the difference maker for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but because the Browns and other teams are interested in him, it's forcing the Steelers to show their hand. They can't just hide these cards close to their chest and prevent other teams from seeing what their actual plan is. They actually have to show them what their plan is, because the Rams are going to take the best offer. This is an or best offer scenario for Matthew Stafford, who's 37 years old. Obviously, he's on the downturn of his career, but he's still got some football left in the gas tank. He's got a heck of an arm. He's always been that strong arm quarterback that can really uncork the deep ball. He could be the answer to unlocking George Pickens, but as I'm going to show you in just a little bit, maybe George Pickens could be something that could sweeten the deal for the Steelers to get Matt Stafford, not have to give up a first-round pick. So I'm going to show you the trade offers in just a second, some projected trade offers, but first we just have to talk about how good this guy is. His football IQ off the charts. Matt Stafford might be one of the few quarterbacks in the NFL right now that could take the Steelers past the first round of the playoffs. Their struggles have been well documented in the first round of the playoffs, but Matt Stafford, a proven veteran quarterback, could seriously unlock this offense. No matter who's calling the plays, no matter who the receivers are, Matt Stafford is absolutely phenomenal. And I'm not saying I'm in on this. I'm still 100% not in on this, guys. I have been thinking about this all day, trying to figure out if I really want Matt Stafford or not, or if I'd rather just draft a quarterback. But Matt Stafford, man, he's really good. I've always liked Matt Stafford. I've always, liked his game. I think he does kind of look like a Steelers quarterback, but it would really hurt our quarterback clock, because you're talking about a 37-year-old quarterback that would need a multi-year extension and be paid a heck of a lot of money. We're reporting over $50 million, I've seen from some reports, as far as what Matt Stafford could demand. But the Browns are in such a desperate spot, maybe more desperate than the Pittsburgh Steelers, with less flexibility and less time to work with, because they have all these players requesting to trade out. Like Myles Garrett doesn't want to be there anymore. They're losing a lot of really good players in Cleveland, and it's now or never for the Browns. They'd given their fans nothing really in their franchise's history. So we're waiting on the Browns to make a move, and being that they are desperate, that makes it more of a threat to them for them to go out there and get Matt Stafford. They're the biggest threat to the Steelers in this pursuit of Matt Stafford, and that's not shocking. Nobody's shocked by that whatsoever. But it's just interesting to see that the Browns, despite paying Deshaun Watson absolutely ridiculous money, are still in pursuit of Matt Stafford or some kind of quarterback that could really change the tide for their franchise, because they have struggled for so long, and they just want to give their fans something to be celebrated. And Matt Stafford would be something they could celebrate if he goes to Cleveland. So of course Cleveland is in on that, but let's analyze some potential trade packages for Stafford to the Steelers. We're not worried about the Browns. Yes, they are there. Yes, they are threatening to go get Matt Stafford and take Matt Stafford away from the Steelers if they really are trying to go after Matt Stafford. But right now, Matt Stafford to the Steelers is what we're projecting. What we could look at is these potential trade offers as far as what it would take to bring Matt Stafford to Pittsburgh, what a potential deal would look like, because that's be the first question I'd have if I was asking somebody, hey, are we going to get Matt Stafford? The first follow-up question would be, what will it take? What will we need to give up to get this guy on our team? This is a potential trade right here, a first-round pick for Matt Stafford. This is a bare bones, basic trade. The first thing that would come to mind is, hey, maybe we just give him a first-round pick. Would that be enough? Maybe it would be enough. That is a good starting point for a trade involving Matt Stafford to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here's an alternate option. Matt Stafford a third-round pick for a first and a third-round pick. So the Steelers trade down just a little bit in that third round and give up the first-round pick. Maybe a little bit more interesting offer, an appealing offer for the Los Angeles Rams to get a few picks higher in that third round, going from pick number 90 to pick number 83. So that would be a maybe tempting offer for the Rams if the Steelers were to sweeten the deal by swapping thirds as well. And then here is the third and final offer that I'm going to show you guys today as a projected trade offer. Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp to the Pittsburgh Steelers in exchange for a first-round pick and George Pickens. That is nuts. That is absolutely bonkers if the Steelers would make that trade. That not only gives the Steelers their quarterback, but brings in a top-tier receiver. And that's exactly what they need. They need Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp could be the answer to unlocking George Pickens, but if Pickens goes back in that trade, it's going to be a lot more interesting. Maybe the Steelers still need another guy at the receiver position to pair with Cooper Kupp and Calvin Austin. So it's very interesting. There's a lot of possibilities. A man can dream. That's what we're doing right now, is dreaming. And when we talk about potential trade packages, that's the type of thing you're looking at, because the Rams are not going to settle for less than the best. There's plenty of teams interested. The demand is high for a quarterback, especially a quarterback of Matt Stafford's caliber, regardless of the trajectory of his career at this point in time and how far he is into his career, how few years he has left. He still has gas left in the tank. That's not going to be argued whatsoever. Rams are not going to settle in this offer. If they want a first-round pick, they're probably going to get it, whether it's from the Steelers, the Browns, the Raiders, the Giants. There's so many desperate teams, quarterback-needy teams out there that could go pursue Matthew Stafford. And when you hear a guy like that's on the market, you got to at least look into it. Are the Steelers serious about acquiring him? I've heard rumors that they are. I've heard also rumors that they're just doing their due diligence. So it's really a matter of time. We'll see. Only time will tell with Matt Stafford and the Pittsburgh Steelers being linked together in a possible trade. I'm very interested in Cooper Kupp. I'm also kind of interested in Matt Stafford. If Steelers can make a trade work, that would be crazy. Definitely would turn the tide for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense that struggled mightily down the stretch last year and in the postseason. Pretty much securing Russell Wilson will not be back, and especially if Justin Fields is going to the Jets, which again is a 50-50 shot. As I said earlier, Steelers need a quarterback. Are they going to draft one? Are they going to trade for one? Are they going to sign one? A lot of options, and we'll keep you up to date on the latest here on Steelers Digest. Throughout the offseason, we will break down every single possibility, even something outlandish. This, not really that outlandish. Matt Stafford to the Steelers. So thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you on the next episode of Steelers Digest.